executed.
Alright, I'm Jordan, and I'm gonna be going through a bot lane matchup, Thresh Lucian versus Nautilus Vayne, and I'm basically just gonna be explaining the positioning errors and capitalization in this game. A lot of bot lane revolves around proper positioning. Since supports are usually full of utility, especially CC like Thresh and Nautilus, being in the wrong position could mean you lose half your HP or you just instantly die. So I'll just be going through that. I guess Lucian just went to leash. Didn't need to. Forks there with Fiora. So alright, so we're getting to the lane. Alright, I got some harass on Nautilus earlier, and I'm just trying to make sure we don't get pushed in too hard right now. So I'm autoing some creeps. Right now we're 2 creeps behind, so blue team is gonna hit level 2 before us, so we gotta watch out for the Nautilus hook. Alright, I know we're not gonna hit level 2, so I'm backing up. Alright, so right here, we didn't respect a level 2 enough, so Not gets to jump on us. Fortunately, we hit level 2 just as Not jumped on Lucian, so we can trade this out. Alright, so Not gets the hook on the Lucian. I get the double play. I try to hook Vayne, I missed both of them. I get the Ignite for harass, although that was an inefficient use of Ignite since I didn't get the heal. So that's actually pretty bad for us since we're down to Summoner. Okay, that's annoying. Alright, so we're kind of pushed in. Alright. So Nautilus is looking to get a hook. He hooks on Lucian. I flay him and I hook him into the turret. And he's dead. The important part right here. Alright, so whenever you're playing champs like Nautilus, Leona, or Thresh that have the ability to go in on an enemy champion, you always want to consider your positioning. Like, for example, Not jumped onto my Lucian. Okay, that's really good, but he's close enough to this turret where I can flay and hook him in the turret range and he eats 2 turret shots and dies. So you always want to be mindful when you're engaging this close to a turret, because champions like Blitzcrank and Thresh can pull you in, and that can be an easy kill. So we go again. Yeah, Not took 2 turret shots. Alright. And I go off of Vayne. This creep boy's coming, so we can't really kill her. So right now, Vayne's just getting zoned from EXP right now. It gets kind of boring here. As a support, you want to play Forge. You want to make sure that she's out of EXP range, since the support isn't there. So I'm just standing in this bush so she can't see me. I tried to go for the hook, but it missed. I was just hoping it would land. So Nautilus comes back to lane. So it's important to note that Vayne doesn't have her heal. Doesn't have flash, but Lucian is actually a bit lower, like 2 autos lower than Vayne. So we may need to play more careful. Now, because of this, Nautilus decides to go ham right now, so let's see what happens here. Alright, so first of all, that's a waste of exhaust. You want to use exhaust when the enemy AD, in this case, is actually auto-attacking. Right now, Lucian's just running, so the exhaust went to waste. As the support, what you want to do is you want to block Nautilus, so you just want to stand right in front of him, so that once he throws his Q, he can't hit your AD carry, who's really low right now. Also, what's advantageous about this is, you see we have a cannon and a melee and 3 range creeps. Right now, Vayne is tanking these creeps, and she's already pretty low. So not only did they waste their exhaust, but Not can't get on the carry. He can only go into the full health support, and they're tanking our creeps. So this is already a pretty bad engage. And since he can't get Lucian, he just autos me. I hook him because, like, I don't care. I'm full HP. I have flash. Vayne's still taking damage from creeps right now. So we fight this out. And they have to run back. Alright, that was annoying. Holy crap. Anyway, because of that now, they have no summoners. And Not just died again. So, even when the enemy AD or support is a bit lower than you, you still need to consider that the power spikes and the power levels between you, like for example, we're ahead of them. We have flash, and you also have to consider the creep waves whenever you're going to engage. Even because there's more to trading in bot lane than just having, oh, he's 2 auto attacks lower than me, let's just go in. Like, that's not how you engage. How engaging by Nautilus was very sloppy, and so we just capitalized on it. So now, we're just going to push the lane, and Vayne's going to miss a bunch of EXP and gold. Like, Vayne's going to miss probably 7 creeps at least. So that's really good for us. Alright. I go Sightstone because I want to focus more on my lane instead of roaming. And also want to watch out for the anti-roam and Gragas. Alright, so I ward Tri, ward River, so we're pretty much covered. Alright. Get an auto off on Nautilus. Basically put some pressure in the lane. Alright. So I'm backing up because Annie's coming through the river. Pretty good that we had a ward there. Alright. Now I'm going to come around here and I'm going to play more up. The reason why I'm doing this is, well, alright. We have a level lead on him. Lucian has a BF to a Vamp Scepter. And Vayne has no pots at all. We're in an obvious position of power right now. So when you're in those positions, you want to position yourself to zone the enemy for like as much as you can. Every CS counts. So I'm just going to position more up front. Yeah, the bot lane synergy isn't on point there. So I'm positioning here. Oh, that's annoying. Get an auto on Vayne just for some harass. One of the best times to auto an enemy AD is when they're trying to get a CS. So I'm playing up again. Vayne overextends and we kill her. Alright. So, right here. Now, they're a bit out of position. Our creep wave is a lot bigger, so I'm much more confident about playing upwards. And as you play this through, I turn back. I turn back because Vayne walked up here. So look at me and Lucian and look at Vayne and Nod. Vayne's walked like a bit up here. Nod is all the way back here. Like he doesn't want any of this. Me and Lucian are like side by side together. So what ends up happening is I get the hook on Vayne. Not still back here. He's running away as we're engaging on Vayne right now. So we get the hook on Vayne. By the time Noct comes into the fight, Vayne's already half HP. But at that point, it doesn't matter because he's dead right now. So one important thing is that you need to respect the enemy laner's power. Like for example, Vayne played too far upwards. You need to adjust your play to your support or your AD, or else you're going to end up like Vayne, trying to play like you actually have lane presence, and then you're going to get bopped in lane. So now Vayne's going to lose some more EXP and experience. Lucian already has a 10 plus CS lead, and it's just going to increase at this point. Alright. Now, so I have two options. I can either back and get my boots and a pink, or I can roam. So I see Gragas up here. I see Kassadin coming mid. So I feel like, hey, maybe we can make something happen. So I'm going to roam up towards mid. And Warwick's right here. And since I'm Thresh, I have a lantern, so it doesn't matter if he's over the wall. I can lantern him in. So we see Gragas loop around straight through our tower into our jungle. So me and Warwick are on this immediately. And we basically catch him, so. Yeah. The NA flash right there. But yeah, another key thing about supporting is roaming is very powerful. If I would have backed there, that Gragas would have got out alive and kept his summoner spell. So you always want to look for opportunities for warding, and now we're going to get a dragon off of this. Now, the downside to roaming is that you're putting pressure in other lanes instead of your own lane. So right now, I have to back. Nautilus is coming back to lane. Vayne's already back in lane. So what's going to happen is Lucian, depending on how strong he is, and depending on a minion wave, he may get zoned from a few creeps. So that's a disadvantage of roaming. So you always want to keep that in mind. Roaming can put your lane behind, since you're giving up time that you could devote to your bot lane. You're devoting it to either your jungler or your mid laner. So I'm backing right now. So I got my Mobies. I basically have all the items I need. As you see right now, if I was in lane right now, these two would be getting zoned. But Vayne's getting some EXP and farm, and Lucian is missing some CS, so that's one of the downsides, but it's worth it because we got a kill off of that. And a kill is definitely worth your AD missing like 4 or 5 CS. Alright. Now I want to note, they're both level 5, we're both level 6. That's a huge power advantage for us. So as this bot lane, you really need to back the hell up. Because I can engage at any time. I have Mobies too, so what I'm gonna do is like I don't care about these creeps. Like I'm just gonna try to go for that engage because I know we're stronger. And there's no way we can lose unless we mess up terribly. But Vayne does a good condemn. And I cannot land a hook here. So we gotta back off. And I notice Vayne's trying to come up on me, so I'm going to back up a little. I want to get a ward in this Tribush. Make sure Gragas doesn't gank his bot. The thing is, I want to get this pink, but the minion wave isn't in our favor. It's pushing towards our turn, and Lucian's farming right now. If I were to try to get this pink, Nautilus and Vayne could jump on me. And like, Lucian's all the way over here, so I would be very out of position. And even though we both have ultimates, that's not a risk that's worth taking. So I'm just gonna put a ward there. And Lucian's stronger, so we can do that. So we're basically just going to zone them off the CS. And once we push the wave in, then I'll get a ward into the Tribush. Alright. If you notice here, again, Naut is all the way back here. Vayne is all the way right here. And I'm in this bush right here. Like, she's basically walking straight up into my face. So I immediately go for it. She's totally out of position and nowhere near, like nowhere in a position to actually help her. And one thing she does wrong again, if she kept running away, I think she could have gotten out of the range of kept out of the range of my flay. But instead she goes for another auto. I cancel it, so it doesn't matter anyway. I get my flay, get the hook. And notice how Nautilus is just walking around like, oh hey, nice rock, what's over here? Nautilus basically couldn't do anything right here. And so Vayne just blatantly overextended and she died for it again. So once again, okay, I suck at CSing. Once again, Vayne's not playing around her support, and she's not respecting our power and our levels. So since Vayne's dead, it's just a support Nautilus, and I don't care about him, so I'm gonna get this pink. Now this is actually very nice on Lucian's part. What Lucian does is he sees this, and so he's already on his way over here. Now as Nautilus, if you're playing, you should see Lucian roaming towards here, and you see the support, any support here. What you do is you gotta let this pink go. You cannot protect it 1v2, especially since I can put a lantern here, and I still have my ultimate, and you don't have 6 yet. So what I do is Naut, for some reason, thinks he can get this ward. I basically get a free hook on him, get the box, and he's pretty much dead. And Lucian does a really good calling. And once again, and Gragas, for some reason, thinks that he's more useful than the support Nautilus. And so he wants to get the ward too. And he walks in and we kill him. And so basically Gragas, Vayne, and Naut, what they all messed up on was their positioning was horrible. Vayne's playing up without her support. Very disconnected from her support. doesn't have minion wave advantage, doesn't have her ultimate, and she walks up into my face. She's just asking to die. Nautilus is trying to get a ward when he knows I'm right here and Lucian is coming and he dies. Gragas knows that me and Lucian are over here. He still tries to get the ward and he dies. So basically, all these people aren't respecting the power, our power, and so they just get bopped constantly. Alright. I tried to hook when the minion died, but it didn't work. And I'm low on mana, so I can't really do anything, so I'm just gonna back.
Blue team's turret has been destroyed.
And I actually think that's the end of the laning phase. Is it? Let's see. Alright. Oh wait, no. Alright. So, once again, Lucian has BF pickaxe. Vayne has a cutlass and a dagger. So Lucian is obviously in the position of power. He has a level advantage on Vayne. I have a level advantage on Nautilus. And once again, there's a disconnect. Vayne is casting her, what is it? Her condemn? Not right here. He's busy running away right now. Like, he doesn't want any of this. So what happens? Now, I could actually, let's see. Alright, I Lantern Lucian in. Now, we can go for Nautilus or we can go for Vayne. I want to go for Vayne because screw her. I hate Vaynes. So, I get the flay on the Vayne. Let's see what happens. I missed a hook. Lucian misses his Q. And she's dead. Not misses his hook. And he's pretty much dead. Alright, even if work wasn't there, Nautilus would have still died. Once again, their bot lane had a ward right here. Like, they saw me coming. And they just kept playing up. So, actually, when do I hit this ward? So I'm coming this way. Alright. So, they should be able to see me. Like right now. Right now they can see me. Alright, so right now they can see me. So let's see how long it takes for them to actually react. Vayne's still up here. Alright, Vayne's still autoing. Now, Vayne autos once, wasted time. She's walking back. Oh, Vayne's walking back to our turn again. Gets another auto on our turn. Okay, that's very useful. Condemns. Basically, those two autos were basically a huge waste of time that she could have spent running immediately. Like, imagine how far she could be right now. She could be right here, which would make my job a lot more difficult. In fact, if she was right here, there's a good chance I would have just went for the Nautilus and Vayne could have just gotten away. But since Vayne didn't immediately run away, I can walk up to her and get the flay. Also, another thing you want to keep in mind is when the enemy support or bot laner period backs, you want to get a feel for how long it'll take them to come back from base. Because you can't get wards here unless you're like some sort of god or something. So you want to get a feel for when they're going to come back to lane. Because the last thing you want is to try to get your 1v1 in bot lane, and next thing you know, the enemy Blitzcrank or Leona appears out of nowhere, coming straight through the lane, and you get like bombed. So right there was just Nautilus and Vayne reacting very poorly to my presence, and so they're gonna die for it. And this lane is pretty much over. I mean, the lane was over from like 0-0, but it's definitely over now. So, thank you for watching.